Hey friends, it's Paige Evans and I have a new layout to share with you today. This is for Flowers Week on the Pink Paisley blog, and I love flowers. I use them all the time. I can't get enough of them, so I was really excited to make this layout. I started by fussy cutting all of the tiny flowers and leaves from paper 23 in my Pick Me Up collection, and I didn't fussy cut any of the birds. I cut around them and I gave them to my daughter Jane because she loves birds, but I didn't find a use for them on my layout. So I focused primarily on the teeny tiny flowers, the teeny tiny leaves. Yes, it took a long time to cut out all of these intricate and tiny shapes, but on the plus side, I'm all caught up on my Netflix and Hulu shows. So I love fussy cutting. I find it relaxing. I feel like I'm multitasking when I'm cutting things out and also like hanging out with my husband, watching TV, or if we're going on a road trip, I can bring along a project and fussy cut to make the time go by faster. So I am a fan of fussy cutting. So here's what my piles look like. Those are all the scraps and all of the flowers that I cut out, all of the leaves, and I've put them into piles of like shapes. Then I went through my Silhouette Design cut files and found this flower wreath. So I die cut it from textured white cardstock, and I grabbed the first color of cardstock that I thought would work. And incidentally, or rather serendipitously, I love this light yellow color and how it looked. In the end, I feel like I spend most of my time when I'm making layouts picking a background color or pattern paper. It just takes me so long to find the perfect color, so I was really happy that this first color that I picked worked out. So now, as you can see, I'm placing the flowers on top of the flowers, the leaves on top of the leaves, and I've never done something like this before. Usually I back my cut files or just place things on the back or watercolor over it. So I've never placed tiny shapes on top, and I feel like it was just kind of a template for placing all of these leaves. And it's funny how these shapes just worked perfectly with this cut file. It was meant to be, like I said, serendipitous. So right now I'm just placing all of these fussy cut shapes. I'm not gluing anything down yet because I'm not sure if this is exactly what I want to do. I think I want to add some mixed media to the background, which will require moving everything off, but I just wanted to get a general idea of how this layout was going to look and decided I liked it, so I'm going to go ahead and do some mixed media. So I loosely traced the shape of this wreath on the background. Before I moved everything away, I took a picture so that I could place everything back in place when that time came. And now for some mixed media, I'm going to scrape white acrylic paint across the background inside that crescent or wreath shape, and just loosely scraping it across the background using a palette knife. And I love the texture that this adds, and it's another layer of interest on my layout. So you've got the cut files, you've got the pattern papers, and now we've got some paint. This is a watercolor set from Low Cornell that I got on Amazon many years ago, and I'm going to combine the packaging technique along with splashing and even just coming in with my paintbrush to paint some matching watercolors onto the white acrylic paint. I'm only using 2 colors, just a couple, maybe 3 or 4, just shades of pinks and yellows to match the pinks and yellows of the pattern papers. So some of the colors were too vibrant. In that case, I just brought in a paper towel and lifted up some of the color, and then just continued splashing it around, painting it around, lifting it up, and then put the wreath back on top to see how it looks, and I like how it looks. So for the last step on this background, I'm going to splash more white acrylic paint across and around and on top. And I added lots of water into that mix to make it very, watered down and bigger splashes. So now I'm going to use liquid adhesive to attach everything in place. I've just flipped the cut file upside down. I'm adding it mostly to the center because I want the ends and the edges and the leaves to bend up and create lots of dimension and shadows. Those are important things in scrapbooking because it's so flat, so you gotta have some dimension somehow. And now I'm referring back to my phone to glue all of the flowers and leaves back in place. Just using liquid glue, again, only applying it to the center so that the edges can bend up. And this takes a while to do all this. That's okay, I love having a good project. These teeny tiny purple flowers are the final pieces that I'm gluing onto these leaves. Just here and there, spacing them evenly apart. And then at this point I needed to find a photo, and nothing I had was matching. So I dressed up my daughter Jane and we went into the backyard and we took some photos. And so there we go. I had perfectly matching photos. Please tell me I'm not the only one who takes pictures just for the layout. Well, in any case, I love having these pictures of sweet Jane. She's such a pretty little girl. And now I'm going to bring in, these are the chipboard thickers from Pick Me Up, and create the title. I thought about creating it around the curve of the wreath, but in the end I decided to split them up into two sections. So it was SPR on one line, ING on the next line, and move the photo over to the right because there really wasn't a whole bunch of mixed media on the right, and if I put my photo on the left, it was covering that up. So by having the photo on the right, I created the title on the left in the white space, and then you still got to see all of that pretty acrylic paint and watercoloring that I did. The title is Spring 2018. Those numbers were made from the mini foam thickers, also from Pick Me Up. And now I am just going to come in with a few stickers here and there to bring out the colors. So in Pick Me Up there are a lot of blues and greens and aquas, but I decided to stick primarily with the pinks and yellows. So that's the colors that I brought in from Pick Me Up. And now I am writing my journaling with a pencil to see if I like the placement. And I don't know, it just felt things were too blocky. And then I thought I would help it out by putting this scalloped washi tape sticker underneath, but I didn't like that either. So I was struggling a little bit. And then I decided, this is why I always write in pencil, to erase the journaling and then write it with a .03 black precision pen on this chipboard sticker and tucked it into the wreath so it became part of the design. I did add a puffy flower sticker next to the photo, and that about finishes this up. So I hope you are inspired in some way by this layout, whether it's fussy cutting or layering on top of die cuts, or creating a wreath design, because you just can't go wrong with that kind of design. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon.